I want to live until I die. I really do. It's going to get me. Because we don't know when the last day is. But I don't want to be dead before then. And I spent a lot of years dead inside.
Anna, how did you find carnivore?
Okay. I was waiting for that question. um, it wasn't immediate. I will say that I want to say maybe 7 years ago or 8 years ago, I'm not quite sure. I did a weird kind of keto, not weird, but not a great keto, and I did lose a tiny bit of weight. And then I gained it, of course. Just to preface this, I am a food addict and I a compulsive overeater. And I've been in Overeaters Anonymous, which is a 12-step program, since I guess I was around 27, and I'm gonna be 69 in October. So a lot of years in and out of these rooms, and this last recovery is like 8.5 years. So I've been basically a normal weight, a normal size for 8.5 years, which for me that's impossible most of my life, and it's always been an issue. So I did this keto, and it was actually pretty good. I think it was under 50 carbs at the time, something like that, and it was good. And I've always liked meat, always. When I was a kid, I used to be thrilled that I could eat as much as my dad and eat all that steak or whatever the heck. I loved it. And people say, "Oh no, don't eat all that. It's fattening. Cut out the bread, but don't eat all that steak. You can't eat." And I used to think, "Oh my God, I just love to sink my teeth in." I always liked meat. And the keto thing had helped me, of course, but like I said, I gained the weight. Not much. It was just a little bit. So last year, I want to say in the summer, I noticed that when I was walking, I was really not feeling great when I did it. I was getting very out of breath. My knee, I have really bad arthritis, bad spine issues. So I was getting scared. I said, "What the heck is going on?" I mean, normally I could walk and a little incline. It bothered me and it scared me. And I will say, I wrote my little note, fear has motivated me in health. And so I like to flip around on YouTube. And for the heck of it, I always watch these wig shows. I know it's kind of crazy, but I thought, oh, this is not a wig, it's me. But I like to watch these wig shows and go, oh, maybe today I'll be a blonde. I don't know. It's a game. I don't buy them, but it's a game. So there was this one lady who I noticed. She said, "Oh wow, she looks great." This woman, a contributor, and I wish I knew her name to tell you. So one day she gets on and she says, "You're all been asking me why I look so good and that I've lost so much weight," which she had. She really looked great. So she said, "I have been on ketogenic diet, and I've had autoimmune disease. I forgot which one. It was one I had not heard of since she was a kid. She'd been ill, horribly, pain, all kinds of stuff all her life. And she went on this, and she had heard it from Dr. Annette Bosworth, Dr. Boz, lovingly called Dr. Boz. And she picked up one of the books, she showed it, and it just hit me. I promptly found Dr. Boz, and I got her books, and I jumped right into it. Deeply. And it was extremely effective. And I love her. I've learned so much, But I also delved into that world on YouTube, which is so much. There's so much. And learn about more people, influencers. Sorry, my book just slipped off. More influencers. And one of her colleagues that she trained, Tammy, I want to say her name right, Laubacher, I sort of worked with her for a little while because I couldn't understand everything, even though I read the books and I did a lot of things, deeply went into it. And I got into ketosis and everything, which actually I have a hard time staying into now, but I'm in it low. And she mentioned in one of the things we were doing, she mentioned ketovore. And I'm going, what's that? And basically she described ketovore as basically, someone who still has some things, okay, but generally can be under 5 carbs a day. I was definitely staying under 20, but I had difficulty because I am a compulsive overeater. I am not a moderator. I must abstain. And that's the whole thing with Overeaters Anonymous as well, because I know who I am, I know it. So, I thought that was interesting. And I thought, I really have to cut out even some of these vegetables. I can't eat nuts. I was playing with that. I was playing. And I would struggle to stay under 20 carbs. So I would say I'm carnivore. And the only reason why I'll label myself slightly ketovore, today I had a little mustard. I go in and out of coffee. I don't really know. And if I go to a restaurant once in a blue moon and I order a huge steak, I may have a salad with it. But basically, no. So I don't even know what to call that. Most days I have no carbs, and I mean, coffee's no carbs. I don't put anything in it. I don't use the sweeteners anymore, though occasionally I'll have a diet soda, but I try to stay away from that. So that's basically where I'm at with that. So I found the keto again through her and learned a lot through it. Dr. Bosworth and Dr. Fetke and Dr. Baker and Dr. Berry and Dr. Chafee and I love your channel. Seriously, you're phenomenal. Dr. Lustig, Dr. Kiltz, hello. Kelly Hogan, I'm in her group right now. She's phenomenal. Jason Fong, hello. I mean, and there's probably more. The guys from Australia, other guys, I like those guys too. So, the sun is changing. Anyway, so, that has been it. I am deeply in it. I am obsessed. And that's been October 20th of 23. It's literally the day I started on the keto. And at that point, I really didn't have, I don't know. I'm a short woman. But so I lost 25 pounds since then. So now I am the same weight I was when I was 12 years old. I have not seen this weight. It's crazy.
Since you were 12 years old.
12 years old, I have not been this weight. No. For me, I'm in the 130s. I've not been in the 130s since I'm 12 years old. And I range, I guess I range between 134 and 137 or something. I do retain water. So I'll tell you more. Oh, God. Sorry about the light. I'll tell you more about the things that this has really helped me. Another thing that started me in fear when 8.5 years ago, my doctor told me I was diabetic. Now, I already was high blood pressure. I already had high cholesterol. I already was taking medications for GERD, really horrible stomach acid. And part of it is I'm a person who has anxiety. And so it reacts in my stomach. Now, you may not see it in me, but it is there internally for sure. Or you may see it. I don't know. Some people say, oh, I always knew you were a nervous person. I go, great. I'm not hiding it too well. But anyway, so I wanted off these damn meds. One of them for the stomach, which is systemically cuts the stomach acid. It's just not good for you. You're not supposed to be on it for a long time. And I was on it for over 30 years. I literally just recently stopped. And I must say, I had asked many gastro doctors, hey, I want to get off of this. And every time I try to get off of it, the resurgence of the acid is so horrible. I can't get off of it. All these years, not one doctor told me that I needed to wean off of this medicine. Not one. She told me the only method to get off of it without it being really horrible was to wean off of it. And I thought, I had asked them, I want to be off this thing. Off this stuff. It's bad for your bones. It's bad for so much. And so that's what I've been doing. And now I haven't taken it by the way, I notate everything because I don't have a great memory. So I want to look back. And so I take my blood pressure every morning ever since October 20th. Literally, my food has been marked. Now I use a chronometer, which is much easier than just writing it down. But because it's necessary for me. It's necessary for me to look back at the data. And I don't find that cumbersome. Maybe occasionally a little annoying, but not cumbersome. And if I go out or something else and I don't know exactly, so I don't have it in there. But basically my numbers, I test my sugar, I test my ketones, see where I'm at. Because that sort of Dr. Bosworth sort of ingrained that. And I realized that is not as important. I have to calm down about that. But anyway, so I just found it to be easier to be on carnivore. And that's how I found it, in that it just was easier. If I have less choices, I'm better. And in Overeaters, and that's just very interesting, in Overeaters Anonymous, when I went on it mucho years ago, when I was 27, 28, something like that, they used to hand you something called gray sheet. And in it, you were allowed to eat. You had no starchy carbs whatsoever. You never had a potato, never a rice, nothing, no bread, nothing, none of that, no pasta, ever. The only kind of carbs you can have are vegetables. And one fruit in the morning. So you had one fruit in the morning as an example, maybe 2 eggs. That's it. For lunch, 4 ounces of something, 2 cups of veggies. For dinner, 4 ounces of something, protein, whatever, and 3 cups of veggies, however you want to manifest it in a vegetable. And that is actually sort of ketogenic. And that worked for me, except there was very little fat. And I will tell you what that did to having to go to the bathroom was impossible. That was a nightmare. And I was here. The difference of adding fat and not thinking about fat. I'm normal, I mean, you have to regulate. Figure it out as going on. But it was huge, a difference. So I am off of, I'll tell you what I'm off of. My stomach medicine, which is a systemic stomach medicine. I no longer take my cholesterol. That's another good story. Medicine. Oh, my diabetes. That was the big thing. I no longer take that. That was the first thing I dropped. I don't need it.
And what were you on for that? Was that Metformin or something?
I was taking Metformin. When I first went on OA, I was on a dose of, I think it was 1,000 in the morning and 1,000 milligrams at night. And it made me sick as a dog. Sick. My stomach was so sick. And I asked my doctors, what can I do other than this? And basically said, they're all going to make you sick probably. So I stuck with it. It was horrible. And then I had started OA and I lost about 50 pounds. And I realized that I was able to half the dose. And halving the dose, taking 500 in the morning and 500 at night, I was no longer ill like that. It was a revelation, I will tell you. It was wonderful. But now I'm not on it at all. And my numbers are fine, very good. Generally, my morning is in the 90s. Or in the day, if I test, I can be in the 80s. Sometimes it's over 100 for sure. I don't think I spike or anything. I'd like to get a CGM, continuous glucose monitor, but they're really expensive. And thank God I'm not an insulin taker of any sort. And that's the only way. I'm on Medicare. Hello. Been graced with Medicare. And that's okay. But I would see, but I don't think I spike because I try to test at certain times. And so, the cholesterol thing, well, that was a big issue. My regular doctor, who I'm going to miss because he's going back to Canada. Anyway, when I told him I was getting off with all this, he was just totally impressed that I was keeping track of everything and talking to him. But when I said keto carnivore, he was like, oh no, And I said, and then when he took my blood work, after I'd stopped taking the cholesterol meds, my cholesterol was high. In fact, I wrote down at that time, My LDL was 205. My HCl was 35. My cholesterol totally was 272. So he was like, "Oh, I don't like where your LDL is at," you know. And my vitamin D was kind of low, and that's basically what he was able to check. I said to him, "Relax." Oh, and really, I wasn't relaxed, but I wanted him to relax. Because I've heard so many people say it's going to change. It's going to change. Your LDL is going to be high, but it's going to change. So I said, relax. So in July, we did another test, and my triglycerides were 126, which was in the normal range. My HDL was 49, which is went higher. My LDL was 323, so that went up. By the way, my A1C in that first blood test went to 5.6, which is normal. I was still on, I don't know if I had stopped them, I think I determined at that point to stop the metformin. It's hard to tell now exactly when I did that. Now, in the second blood test, my A1C was 5.4, which is even lower. And I had been off of metformin for a very long time. And this is what I want. I want to be off whatever I can. The last lingering medication is my blood pressure medication, and I'm playing with that. I've had two kinds. I take lisinopril in the evening, and I've been taking a water pill, which was the first thing that was given to me in my 30s. I had been on the pill for a year. I hope I'm not disclosing too much. In my 30s, I'd never been on the pill before, and it did something to me. I'd never had high blood pressure, and it gave me high blood pressure. And I had to stop it, but my pressure did not come down, so we had to medicate. So since in my 30s, I've been on this thing called triamterene HCl, which I think is a combo of two diuretics. And I've been on that since just recently. He switched it to not a combo, but just hydrochloride, which is not a wonderful thing, but it's just one in it, and my lisinopril. So I've been playing with that. And in fact, last night I took my lisinopril, but I didn't take it for 5 days, and my blood pressure was very good, in the range of 114 over 60 something over set, it was very good, but it crept up. After 5 days, it started to go up, and I thought, no, let me be careful. So last night I did take a pill, so I'm trying to figure that out. Maybe I need a lower dose of lisinopril. Maybe if I lose I don't think I need to lose any more weight, really. Because talk about wrinkles, man. This skin hasn't been, it was always filled at least 10 or 12 pounds more than this. No, I shouldn't be vain about it, but it's true. And maybe I need to lose some more weight for the blood pressure to be better. But I'm so grateful that I'm off of those 3 meds I took every single damn day. And they were not good. So this is a huge, huge change for me. Huge. And that was the main goal, actually, originally. And I wanted to feel better because by the way, I do strength training now at a medically supervised gym. I go there 3 times a week. It's great. They're associated with my pain doctor. I haven't needed pain injections or anything for quite a long time, which is wonderful, even before that. But, and so it's wonderful. So I'm lifting weights. I got some stuff going on here, on my arms, but, and I had to, because, my arthritis is such that, look at the sun is creeping up on me, huh? Anyway, I got such where, I need, at some point, I probably need shoulder replacement, all kinds of stuff. And I'm hoping no. But I didn't use my upper body as much. And it got to a point, I was sitting there one day, I was making chicken salad for my boyfriend, my man, whatever. And I had to rest in between chopping the damn chicken. I said, "You are too weak, girl." So I started that, and it's made a huge difference. And I walk. So now all the inclines and all the walking and all the things that I couldn't do prior to last October, it's no problem. And I'm sure losing the 25 pounds, all of the above. So I'm grateful, because you know what? I want to live until I die. I really do. It's going to get me. because we don't know when the last day is. But I don't want to be dead before then. And I spent a lot of years dead inside. A lot of years. Because I am an addict. So when I see your testimonials, which is very much in the 12-step, I consider you a 12-stepper. You do that 12-step, sharing it with the world, or whoever. And it's important to me. So having been so long in the program and following it, I get a lot of things about I'll call it a disease, because they do call it that in the 12-step programs. So I need to know who I am. I need to know what I can't take inside my body. And I have to remind myself that on a daily basis, which is part of why I listen to you daily. I get everything I can, whatever program stuff I do, whatever carnivore keto stuff I do, I need to, because I got to be reminded every day that I am an addict, because I wake up an addict every day. I think about it. And, I love to hear when people say, I don't have cravings anymore. And that's not my story. I mean, yes, I can go. And in fact, the other day, I actually went 22 hours without eating. That's not common for me. I eat 2 meals a day. I can't do this OMAD thing because of my GERD. I mean, it's still there. If I eat too much at one time, it's not a happy experience. It still exists, so I don't want to exacerbate it. Since I'm not on the medicine, I don't want to go on that medicine. It's very bad for me. Anybody. And, the doctors, and it's quite true. Oh, you got this? Okay, take this. Oh, you got that? You take this. You need to take that. And when I went to my cardiologist and he saw my old numbers, the first numbers, and he was like, you got to be on this, what do you call it? The
Statin.
Statin, thank you. See, but I will tell you, when I stopped taking the statin, I suddenly can do my puzzles better. Now, I still have brain fog in a way, but there was a degree that was lifted, and certain aspects of my memory are better. It is a difference, and I am not ever going back on that statin. It's not good. I don't think it's good. I won't go back. He prescribed it. I wasn't going to argue with him. I picked it up, but I'm not taking it. I don't care. I'm going to try to get the CAC test, just find out what the hell's going on in my heart. That one. I'd love to know what that is. Because it's been a lot of years of damage. I can't say I have no idea. But not being on these kind of meds and having these kind of numbers and not feeling I'm like freaking out every day because I need to eat. That's the difference. I don't have good satiety understanding still, but I'm not hungry the same way. There's no way. It's not the same. Even with adding some vegetables, adding the choices isn't good for me. So it's really good. I will say, though, my partner, he has health issues, and he's done some things actually, it's amazing. He's had a little setback with it. He was surprised. He's not carnivore, but I will tell you, he let go of things that hugely changed his life. And yeah, unbelievable. He probably has a severe gluten allergy. And, it was to the point where literally, if a bathroom wasn't nearby after he ate, it was a sad thing. So living like that for years is not good. You either don't eat or whatever. His life was ruled by that. When he stopped that, I want to tell you, within 2 days, it changed. Now, something happened to him. He got some other issues, and he's battling that a little bit right now, but it's so evident. And then something happened with his markers, because he has a type of a leukemia, and his numbers went down, which never goes down within that month that he took it. And we don't know if that's an indicator, but it was interesting. Again, I can only go by me. I will say my arthritic pain is not as bad. My, of course, I went off My allergies are not as bad. I have very bad seasonal allergies, and allergies to animals. And I have a friend who has 4 doggies, and I went to go watch them. And usually I had to take an allergy pill when I went there, but I didn't want to because I would go a couple of times a day to watch them, whatever. I didn't want to fall asleep from my damn allergy pill. So I didn't need to take it. Within a few minutes, I wasn't sneezing profusely. So I'm not saying my allergies are gone. And another thing, I suffered with sinus problems and sinus headaches and all the time. Now it's rare. So I can only say that it's just, maybe it's this. I have to say that it is. So again, it's obliterated, and I'm not going to walk around and start owning a cat. I'm not going to do that. I'm allergic to them. But I do notice that difference. I'm like, holy crap, that's pretty good. That is pretty damn good. And again, I wish all my arthritis would go away. Probably not, but it's better. It's definitely better. Almost no veggies, diabetes. I think I covered a lot, especially, and I think my memory's better, not only from the statin.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but at the beginning of this conversation, you said you're almost 69.
Yeah.
I find that unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go close to the camera so you can see all the wrinkles. But yeah, that was something my mom gave to me. She looked young for her age most of her life, and got some of that. I had a partner who I love very dearly for 30 years, and he passed away in 2019. And we used to eat together. Let's put it to you that way. I wished I had known more. I tried to help him with his food issues, but you can't do that for anybody. No one was going to tell me not to eat or eat a certain thing. All those years, it's an addiction. So, he's gone, and my mom passed in 21, and that was sorry. And COVID, and also it was a rough number of years. And I would say I'm very grateful. I don't really believe in God. I'm spiritual though. I don't think there's something out there, but I'm grateful. So if I want to say thank God, it's because it's a term, that I found a wonderful man in my life. I can't believe it. So, and that's not the be all and end all of life. It just happened to happen. So to have found love again is amazing to me. So my friend calls me a serial monogamist because I married my childhood sweetheart. We'd gotten divorced. We still talk. And then I met Larry, and we were together for 30 years. And now with this gentleman who's wonderful. I know I'm going on and on. But, life, whatever I can do to sustain my mental clarity. Because I have been a melancholic type of person. That's another thing I meant to say. I do think that's helped me. This has helped me. In the 12-step rooms, they call it stinking thinking, and I'm great at that. I get an A in stinking thinking. And I remember still clearly the first time I ever felt depression. I was a kid. I remember sitting in the living room in my parents' apartment, suddenly feeling something on, what is this? This is weird. And of course, as I got older, I understood what that feeling was. And I've never taken any medication. Well, I did for anxiety a little bit at one point, but I am on the depressive side. I can fall there. I'll hide it quite well. Yeah, but it is there. And I want to say, I do think I'm better since being on this. Everything makes you feel better when you feel better. So there's been a lot of changes.
You're eating twice a day, and
Generally, sometimes 3 times a day. Depends on how hungry I am.
Okay, and what the meals tend to be? Is it like just a steak or?
Oh yeah, I love my steak. I love my ground meat. I love my butter a little too much. I will say, I'm a little addicted to the butter. I don't want to stop it. But boy, if I have one pat, I want to have another pat and another pat. It depends. And it's so funny. I'm not one of them. It's funny in Kelly's groups. She talks about the people who have trouble bringing in the calories. That is not me. But that's okay. It is what it is. So this morning, I had 3 ounces of ground meat, which I had sauteed, a whole bunch of it. I had those egg pats things you can get in a package. It's just like an egg pancake kind of thing. I had 3 eggs with a tablespoon of Primal Kitchen mayo, which is the avocado base. It's good. I know that's not too carnivore, but I do use that. And I had 3 ounces of ground meat. And then I cut a pat of butter and I put it in my little wrap and I rolled that. That was my breakfast. And then I ate that around 9:30 this morning. I was trying to hold off. That's another thing. At times I'm better with intermittent fasting. At times I've got to eat. I don't know. I'm not an OMAD person. Because I don't think I can sustain myself on that. I can't eat too much at one time like that. I can eat a lot, but not that much. So generally I'm a 2-meal person. Occasionally I try to do the sardine thing. And I will tell you, my numbers are unbelievable when I do that. Unbelievable. Dr. Boss talks about the sardine. She's not kidding, though I've never successfully done more than 2 days in a row. And she says the magic happens. After 3 days, it hasn't happened I haven't been able to attain that, but that's okay. My sugars go down to the 80s or more. My ketones go higher. It is miraculous. And I do feel better because I'm not putting maybe as much in. I don't really know the answer. So I'm just hoping for more changes. I don't know. I think things will change even more and more if I notice them. Sometimes it's hard to notice them. But when I listen to your people, I go, oh, that happened to me too. So the testimonials are phenomenal. And I have a strong inclination. There's a side of me that wants to, get on YouTube as well. I don't know how I would do it. That still is whatever in my head, but I want to. Whatever spreads the word, however one finds something. For me, initially, that wig lady did it. I don't care. If someone changes, if someone gets better, fine. Now, people in my world think I'm crazy that I'm eating this way. It's not good for you and this and that. Meanwhile, they're governing on tons of stuff. I can't lose weight. I can't do this. I can't do that. When I went on OA, they say, oh, Anna, you lost weight, even years ago. How'd you do it? Well, when I would tell them, it's like, oh, no, I can't do that. Well, I get the same response with this too. No, I can't do that. But I don't understand. Why can't you do it if it is effective? But, again, I believe we're all addicts on a certain level, whatever that may be. If you can't see it, it makes me sad.
Has anyone said, "Oh, I'll give it a try"? No one's been interested.
No, except for my partner, who was actually willing to do some things, and it helped him. And when I tell my friends that too, oh wow, great. Or relatives, they're not interested. It doesn't pique their interest. Oh, when I tell someone who I super love, this person has a lot of issues that are right in there. And I say, oh, this one, I heard about autoimmune. People are solved with the autoimmune and their thyroid and this and that. These are really true stories. I'm telling you, why don't you let me know? I like what I'm eating. They still think, eat less, the veggies, the whole thing. But maybe those aren't good for you. Maybe they're not. But I do think it, as Dr. Berry say, it is the proper human diet. I do believe that. I do.
Yeah. I mean, just if take the weight loss off the table, just everything else that improves it really does kind of go to show that it is the proper human diet, right? Like, because every part of your body starts functioning better.
Yeah,
And no other diet does that. You know, you go on an all veggie diet or something like that, you're not gonna your body's not gonna suddenly start feeling better. You might lose weight, but that'll be it.
that'll be it. It's so true. I know being in a 12-step program, it does help with the mental. It does, because you know you gotta do some research into yourself. You know, work, you know, has to happen. And this does that too when there's some clarity. There is clarity, more clarity, you know. And I'm looking for more. And I wonder, sometimes I can't see too well. Sometimes I can't see too well out of my glasses. I'm thinking, is my eyesight changing? Oh, by the way, not that I'm a major sun burner, but I swear to God, I think I'm just only getting a tan now. I mean, I've always been that way. I have that. My natural father was from Tunisia, so I got some of that in me, you know. But the thing I'm saying is that it's more so. I'm not getting burned at all.
Yeah.
Some skin that had never seen the light of day at one point in time, you know, did get a tiny burn, but nothing horrible. I was shocked. Another thing.
Yeah. Such a massive change, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if one of your friends did express interest, what would you advise them to be able to stick with carnivore?
I would send them links. In fact, I need to do that with one of my friends who may be interested. I'm not sure. You know, when I try to tell her you don't have to limit your fat and this and that, she's going, "Oh, I only put a half a pat of butter on this, Anna." I'm like, "You don't have to worry about that." They don't get it. There are some links of yours and some others that I need to send to her. I would do that because hearing it from me only is not good enough, you know. So I would do that. I would offer any bit of information they want and be available totally on the phone or whatever. You know, as they say in the rooms, attraction, not promotion. It really is that. And that's why I think you're, aside from you being phenomenal, because you are, I think you're great. The testimonials are very important to see what people have gone through. These are regular people. I got to get out of this light. Sorry. And these are regular people. We're all regular people. Some have had more. Some of the journeys that you capture there are heartbreaking, and the changes and the suffering. I mean, we've all suffered, okay, on some level. And but some have been, wow. And it's changed. And some things in particular, especially skin issues, a lot of autoimmune. I mean, it's just, and I want to like scream out to the world. And I know that that actually doesn't work quite as much, unfortunately. Because when you close down. I was for years closed down. Don't tell me what to eat. Are you kidding me? You know, because I was incapable or whatever, or unwilling. I don't know. I don't have that answer. I really don't. But yeah, so it's been, you know, huge because I've had spine issues noticeably since my 20s. I used to perform and acting and singing. And I remember in my 20s when I'd get off the stage, I'd go and have to lean on a wall. I'm trying to hide this from on a wall to stretch my back. In my early 40s, my degenerative disc disease was so bad that I could barely walk for a year. It was horrendous. I used to push my chair down in the office, you know, slowly. It was almost like my walker. I could only sit in my own specific chair. It would take me 10 minutes to get in and out of the car, trying to get to work. And it was rough. And through many modalities, I was able to walk again. I mean, walk like a person without pain and being careful. I thought that was the end. In my early 40s, I thought, oh my God, I'm screwed.
It's
So
horrible when you get to that point as well, and you feel like, oh, okay, the wheels are really falling off now.
yeah, I was scared. So thankfully, that altered. I knew how to do certain things. Losing weight, though, didn't do that, which was, would have been, it wasn't until much, wasn't until later. Even though I had been in and out of the rooms, I was more out. Okay. At those years, because I'd gained the weight I had lost that first 6 years, which I sort of stayed stable. Again, I think the fat is very important. It does help on whatever level of satiety that I do have. It's not like a lot of people. They have remarkable transformations in that regard, and that's okay. And I do think I need to look. I think it's Danny Conway. I'm in a group with hers, and she does functional medicine stuff. I think I have to look deeply into my blood work, look into my hormones. I started menopause relatively early at 46, so I got zero. And when I had, hormone stuff going on, and when I went into when I had that problem with the birth control pill, I was not going to take those hormone pills. I just said, maybe that's not good for me. So I wouldn't, and my doctors were trying to foist that on me. Take the hormones, Anna, take the hormones. No, I don't want to take the hormones. Maybe it would have been good, maybe it wouldn't. But for me, I had already had a bad response. But I do think maybe there's something I can do. And so I think I have to delve more into that, But again, you got to be careful who you're talking to with doctors. The minute you say you're on this kind of eating, it's like you're dead tomorrow, you're going to have a heart attack, on and on. And no, it's not healthy. That is not healthy. How are you eating like that? Don't eat like that. You can't. Have some vegetables. No, I don't want any vegetables.
And suddenly you're a non-compliant patient, right?
And honestly, I don't have that bloat. Even when I was thinner at night, if I ate a certain way, I'd have to unbutton my pants and I wouldn't feel so great. No, it wasn't the same. This is totally different. It is totally different.
Do you feel this lifestyle is restrictive?
No, I think it's freeing. Because it is freeing for me not to worry about what the heck am I going to eat every day. I take my ground meat out. I have a whole load cooked. I always have eggs, hard boiled. I have steaks. Oh my God. I have so many. My freezer is filled. I go to the store and look for sales. He's into the ribeyes, and I like chuck steak, which is cheaper. I love my chuck steak. I stick a whole thing in the air fryer. It cooks beautifully. That'll last me, a few days. Sometimes I smell something, and we go to the movies, I smell that popcorn. I love that freaking popcorn. Let me tell you. I used to, in this country, you can get a big one. And then the second one's free. So I used to be able to eat the big one before the movie started. And then I'd run out to get the second one. And my Larry, who was with 30 years, he was big, and he'd say, "Can you let my hand into the thing?" I mean, I was rough. Don't touch my stuff, man, when it came to food. So, yeah, sometimes it smells of things.
What would your advice be for dealing with cravings when you're first getting started? How did you handle that?
Well, I tell you, I got like carnivore things, like certain carnivore things. So sometimes I keep it with me. I actually just ordered these carnivore bars that I heard on Dr. Chafee and someone else. I'm waiting for those to come because there were times where I may try not to eat in the morning. And then if I go out of the house and I go exercising and then I go walking. So I exercise 3 times a week generally, and then I walk at least 3 times a week. And so I'm getting a lot of movement because I also get an A in couch potato. That's good. I'm good at that. And I don't want to do that. But sometimes I can not eat if I'm preoccupied, if I'm not in the house doing whatever I'm doing. I can not be hungry in the early. So let's say I get to noon or close to 1 o'clock, I'm screwed. And so let's say I go to the supermarket, that's bad. So I used to grab the pork rinds, and I don't really want to do that because it's so many at the store, because there's so many calories in that, really. And I don't know what the hell that's been cooked in, really, the kind of oil. That's another thing. I really, no seed oils, though you can't totally avoid that when you go to a restaurant. I try, but hey, I don't do that restaurant stuff too much. And I guess it affects your social life a little bit. Well, what I would say in regard to the cravings is I give myself a safety net. Like when I travel, I get certain carnivore things that stay long. And if I need to eat, I open it up. I'm going to eat it instead of eating something else. That'll help me. It gives me a safety net. I feel better. Okay. So I'm going to try the bars because that's even better, because that hopefully could be a meal. I don't know how I'll respond to it. I like to feel full. I like to feel too full, but I don't get that way anymore. I really don't. I do stop before that happens, because just like Dr. Chafee says, there's something happens where I'm going, yeah, I don't really want to take another bite. That does happen to me.
Yeah, it's amazing feeling, right? You get to the point where it's just like, yeah, I'm done. But then when the next meal comes up, even if it's exactly the same thing, you're like anticipating it so much. It's like, oh, can't wait for this,
Yeah. I love my steak. I love my ground meat. I do. I don't eat much cheese and stuff. And even though I love my eggs, I don't know. I'm trying to notice changes in my body when I eat certain things. I don't know if I'm having a thing with that. I'm trying to decide. Even when I was off the coffee for about a month or a little more, I was off of that because I have severe sleep issues. I do not adequately sleep for over 35 years. I wish I could. And I take all kinds of medications to help me, and I don't want to do that. Sometimes I have to, become, nuts. A lot of people say their sleep helps. I'm looking forward to maybe that'll come. This whole circadian thing I try. I wear the glasses to, when I look at the phone or whatever the heck at night. Maybe that's all helped. Who knows? I'm looking for more. And again, I'm eager to see future changes, honestly. But I am so grateful that I'm not on those meds every single damn day. Every single damn day.
And how can people reach out to you? Do you have any social media or anything?
I guess I am on Facebook, but as my name, I didn't even give you my last name. You see my last name. I guess people want to. My email is that email. If people want to reach me on that email, annacoplos@gmail.com, I'd love it. That's probably the best way. I would appreciate it. In program and OA, I've been a sponsor for over 30 odd years, and I have sponsees, and I have my sponsor, and I understand addiction, especially food addiction, on many levels. So I don't believe to push on anything on anyone. I'd like to push it, please, but you can't. So I talk a lot. I try to listen as good as you. You are teaching me.
Nice. So I'll link to your email and the Facebook below. Anna, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome. And
your
I'll
time.
let you know. I'll let you know if I do anything on a channel.